Did you know that the world is a tapestry woven with threads of silence? The words hung in the air, a whisper against the backdrop of the rushing river. Echo, a nymph of the forest, stood frozen, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. She had never heard such a profound statement, such a poignant observation. It was as if the speaker had peeled back the veil of the world, revealing a hidden truth. "Silence," she echoed, her voice a soft, ethereal whisper that seemed to blend with the rustling leaves and the murmuring water. The speaker, a young man with eyes the color of the summer sky and hair like spun gold, turned towards her, a smile playing on his lips. "Yes," he said, his voice warm and inviting. "Silence is the canvas upon which the world paints its stories." Echo, captivated by his words, stepped closer, her bare feet sinking into the soft earth. She had never spoken to a mortal before, never felt such a pull towards another being. The man, sensing her presence, turned to face her fully. "You are beautiful," he said, his gaze lingering on her, taking in the delicate features of her face, the way her hair flowed like a waterfall down her back, the way her eyes shimmered like the morning dew. "Beautiful," Echo repeated, her voice a soft echo of his words. The man laughed, a sound like the tinkling of bells. "You are a nymph, aren't you?" he asked, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "I have heard tales of your kind, creatures of the forest, bound to the echoes of the world." "Echoes," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Yes," he said, his smile widening. "Echoes. You repeat the last words spoken to you, don't you?" "You," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. The man's smile faded, replaced by a look of concern. "Why do you repeat my words?" he asked, his voice softer now, laced with a hint of sadness. "Words," she whispered, her eyes filled with a deep longing. The man sighed, his gaze falling to the ground. "I am called Narcissus," he said, his voice barely a murmur. "And I am cursed." "Cursed?" Echo repeated, her voice a mere echo of his despair. "I am cursed to love only myself," he said, his voice filled with a deep, aching sorrow. "I can see no beauty in the world, only my own reflection." "Reflection," Echo whispered, her heart aching for him. Narcissus looked up, his eyes meeting hers for a moment. He saw the sadness in her eyes, the empathy that mirrored his own pain. He saw a beauty in her that he had never seen before, a beauty that transcended the physical, a beauty that resonated with his own soul. "You are different," he said, his voice filled with a newfound hope. "You see me, not my reflection." "Me," Echo whispered, her heart pounding in her chest. Narcissus reached out, his hand brushing against hers. The touch sent a jolt of electricity through her, a feeling she had never experienced before. "I want to know you," he said, his voice filled with a longing that mirrored her own. "I want to hear your voice, not just the echoes of my own words." "Voice?" Echo whispered, her eyes filled with a mixture of hope and fear. Narcissus smiled, a genuine smile that lit up his face like the sun breaking through the clouds. "Tell me your name," he said, his voice filled with a tenderness that made her heart soar. "Echo," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Echo," he repeated, his voice filled with a newfound respect. "You are the echo of the world, the voice of the forest, the whisper of the wind." "Wind," she whispered, her voice filled with a newfound confidence. Narcissus took her hand, his touch sending a wave of warmth through her. "Come with me," he said, his voice filled with a promise that made her heart skip a beat. "Let us explore the world together. Let us listen to the echoes of our own hearts." "Hearts," Echo whispered, her voice filled with a newfound hope. And so, Echo, the nymph cursed to repeat the last words spoken to her, found herself drawn into the world of mortals, her heart filled with a love that transcended the boundaries of her curse. She followed Narcissus, her voice a constant echo of his words, a testament to the power of love to break even the most ancient of curses. They walked through sun-dappled forests, their laughter echoing through the trees. They swam in crystal-clear lakes, their voices blending with the rippling water. They climbed towering mountains, their breaths mingling with the crisp mountain air. With each passing day, Narcissus's curse seemed to weaken. He began to see the beauty in the world around him, the beauty of the flowers, the beauty of the birds, the beauty of the stars. He began to see the beauty in Echo, a beauty that went beyond her physical form, a beauty that resonated with his soul. But their happiness was short-lived. One day, As they were walking through a meadow, Narcissus stumbled upon a pool of water. He stopped, his eyes widening in surprise. He saw his reflection in the water, a reflection that seemed more real, more perfect than anything he had ever seen before. "Beautiful," he whispered, his gaze fixed on his reflection. "Beautiful," Echo repeated, her voice filled with a deep, aching sadness. Narcissus, lost in the beauty of his own reflection, forgot all about Echo. He spent hours gazing at his image, lost in a world of self-admiration. He forgot about the world around him, the world that had once held so much beauty for him. Echo, heartbroken, watched as Narcissus became consumed by his own reflection. She tried to call out to him, to remind him of the love they shared, but her voice was lost in the echoes of his own words. "Beautiful," she whispered, her voice filled with a desperate plea. But Narcissus did not hear her. He was lost in his own world, a world of self-absorption and vanity. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and Narcissus remained fixated on his reflection. Echo, unable to break free from her curse, watched helplessly as the love of her life slowly withered away. One day, as Narcissus was gazing at his reflection, he reached out to touch it. But as his hand reached the surface of the water, he realized that it was nothing more than an illusion. He was trapped, imprisoned by his own vanity. "Help!" he cried out, his voice filled with a desperate plea. "Help!" Echo repeated, her voice filled with a mixture of hope and despair. But it was too late. Narcissus, consumed by his own reflection, had lost himself forever. He faded away, his image dissolving into the water, leaving behind only a faint echo of his former self. Echo, heartbroken and alone, wandered the forest, her voice a constant echo of the words that had once filled her with hope. She became a symbol of the dangers of vanity, a reminder that true beauty lies not in the reflection, but in the love we share with others. And so, the legend of Echo, the nymph cursed to repeat the last words spoken to her, was passed down through generations, a cautionary tale about the dangers of self-absorption and the power of love to break even the most ancient of curses. But the story of Echo is not just a cautionary tale. It is also a story of hope, a story of the enduring power of love. Even though Narcissus was lost to his own vanity, Echo's love for him remained, a constant echo in the forest, a reminder that even in the face of loss, love can endure. And so, the echoes of Echo's voice continue to resonate through the forest, a testament to the enduring power of love, a reminder that even in the face of loss, hope can always be found.